Where is the negative? So I'd like to start off with, Jenny mentions that their significance claim are that pain and suffering should be the reason that we should adopt the Oregon model for physician-assisted suicide. With the study from the Oregon Health Division, the 5th annual report on the Oregon Death with Dignity Act, the patients were asked why they wanted to commit suicide with dignity. Instead, their answers were loss of autonomy, 84%, decreasing ability to participate in enjoyable things in life, 84%, and the loss of control of bodily function, 47%. Pain and suffering was not a law. There are no statistics showing, based on my research, as to why they wanted to commit suicide. Pain and suffering was never mentioned, nor is there a statistic to back that up. Instead, it came down to dignity, it came down to pride. These, loss of autonomy, decreased ability to participate in enjoyable things, and the loss of control in bodily functions, they sound like vain answers. Your reason to live should not be based on pride. If you're asking us to change the law now, which is that suicide is illegal and that a physician assisting you would then in turn be helping commit that, which in turn would be murder, you're asking us to change that based on pride, and that'll come down to the later point. It goes against the U.S. laws. The U.S. laws were already determined by the Supreme Court in 1997 when they stated, on June 26, 1997, the United States Supreme Court unanimously rejected any constitutional right of terminally ill patients to physician-assisted suicide. So we don't have a backing in regards to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the 19th Amendment, and in the Supreme Court they fought the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, none of which stated that the United States citizens had the right to choose how and when they pass. That is not our right in regards to the Constitution. She also mentioned chemotherapy as well as palliative care. Palliative care is specialized medical care for people with serious illnesses. Chemotherapy would be the treatment of that. So they are different. Those are not the same thing. They do not coincide. Palliative care is usually given within the last 6 months of you being diagnosed, so you are going to pass within that 6 months. It can be given earlier though. But chemotherapy would be completely different. And then again, she mentioned that you're losing your hair, it's not dignified. That comes down again to vanity. Your right to live and your right to choose to pass shouldn't be based on that you no longer feel beautiful or you no longer can do the things that you like to do. It should be based on when is your body deciding, okay, it's time to go. We think that it also creates a slippery slope. Chief Justice Rehnquist, which was one of the Supreme Court judges, stated that individuals do not have the fundamental liberty interest to seek a physician-assistance in committing suicide. To recognize a fundamental right to the physician-assisted suicide, we would have to reverse centuries of legal doctrine and practices and strike down the considered policy choice of almost every state. In the case Compassion in Dying versus Washington State, which was a different case, not the Supreme Court, we also stated that the court concluded that physician-assisted suicide could undermine the trust that is essential to the doctor-patient relationship by blurring the time-honored line between healing and harming. The Hippocratic Oath states, I will never give a deadly drug to anyone if asked, nor will I make a suggestion to this effect. Hippocratic Oath cannot be waived. We don't have a constitutional right to back that up, to allow it to be waived. So if they're asking to change the rule based on what? That's what I'd like to ask the affirmative side. What are you asking us to change the rule on? Because it cannot be based on the law. The Supreme Court already said no. And pain and suffering, when we asked the actual patients, pain and suffering wasn't even one of the things that they mentioned. Thank you.